Alright, we're going to talk about Lindsey Downs from Love After Lockup and Life After Lockup. She recently did a prison interview with Starcasm, and she had a lot to say. They couldn't even cover it all, but they did one segment. We're going to talk about some of the updates that she gave them. Lindsey started off the interview going into detail about how it was to get out of prison in the middle of the pandemic when she was on the show and moved in with Scott. And she said, being released when I was and how I was is not something I would want to repeat. All of the services that are supposed to be available to prisoners upon release were suspended. I never met with my probation officer or received mental health services. I never took a drug test or even signed my probation paperwork. I was released with the FBOP prisoner ID card, and the DMVs were shut down and stayed down for 2 months. I couldn't get a driver's license, which means no driving or applying to jobs. Even if I could have applied for a job, it was essential workers only, which I assure you I was not. I wonder what kind of work she's talking about that's not essential, like modeling, stripping. Lindsey also went on to tell Starcasm, I left a world that I knew how to navigate and returned to an alien planet that had no time or resources for me. I had such high expectations for how my life would be and all I would do and achieve when I got home, but when I finally got to the light at the end of the tunnel, well, it was a nightmare. As simple as that, I relapsed. And Scott was telling Life After Lockup and telling everyone that he is the one that kicked Lindsey out and evicted Lindsey, but she says that's not the case. She acts like she's the one that broke up with Scott, and she's the one that chose to move out. She said he claimed he kicked me out shortly after we finished filming Life After Lockup, but the truth of the matter is, I had moved out while we were still filming. Lindsey reveals, I still had a lot of things in the house that I was planning to get later on, but Scott texted me informing me he had put a weapon in the house and wouldn't allow me to return for my things. And since Lindsey's had charges being caught with a firearm, found with a firearm, she's not allowed to be in the same household with somebody who owns a firearm. Lindsey also went on to say that a few days after I had moved out, Scott called and made a police report on the damages done to the house. He claimed I had damaged a desk, laptop, coffee pot, printer, and Xbox. As viewers can attest to after viewing the show, I didn't touch the printer or Xbox, but Scott had to get the cost of damages up to a specific amount for the charge to be considered a felony. She said that she feels like Scott just acted like she damaged the printer and the Xbox and the coffee pot, even though she says allegedly she didn't, just so it could make it the felony malicious mischief, make it a felony from a misdemeanor because of the amount of damages she did. She was arrested in June of 2020 for these charges, but she only spent less than an hour in jail before she posted a $500 cash bond. So let's check out some pictures which Scott posted the damages she did to his office. This is the damage she did to his desk. It doesn't say everything she carved into it. She put FU, but I can't post the whole word. And so this was quite some money. And this is the damage she did on the floors when she poured all the pills out, flung everything everywhere, was pouring baby powder everywhere. I think in this next picture we're about to see is when you see the baby powder all over the desk right here. There's a laptop, I believe. She probably took outside and got all wet and ruined. But I see the printer in the background. It kind of looks like it's in good shape. But then again, I don't know. I don't know if she could have poured water or what she could have did to it. And this is all what Scott pressed charges on her for. And also, he did say on Facebook he is going to sell the well-known desk that she messed up, and he's going to try to sell it on eBay. I don't know how much he's going to get for it, how much he's going to try to get for it. Would you guys buy that desk on eBay? Let me know in the comments below. And Lindsey also said, almost a month later, on July 8th, 2020, I was arrested again in Alcorn County on the same charge that I was already out on bond for, the charges Scott pressed on her. She said, I was told it was an invalid warrant and I shouldn't have been picked up. And the invalid warrant ended up having police search the car, and that's when they found and got her with a possession charge and found a loaded firearm in the car. And the car that she was driving wasn't her car. It was a car she was test driving, a 2017 BMW. And they said she either had to bring it back in less than 24 hours. And once it hit 24 hours or over, she had to purchase a car. She had the car for way over 24 hours. So they called the police on her. And the police came and tracked her down she was going to get tested for COVID, and they ran her down there at this doctor's office and arrested her there, and she's been in prison ever since. But Lindsey's denying it and claiming her innocence, and she says, the car was a push to start, so I had the key fob that was needed to start and drive the car. I later found out I didn't have the attachment to the fob that is a physical key in my possession, which is what I would have been needed to open the glove box. I hadn't even tried to open it. It never crossed my mind. The problem is I had people in and out of the car all morning and had at one point let someone actually borrow the car to make a run to McDonald's while I was in the shower. So Lindsey's saying because of this, that either the stuff they found in the car was already in there or somebody else left it in the car. I don't know if I believe that, because this ain't the first time Lindsey's had those exact same charges. Lindsey also said, I sat in Alcorn County Jail for 5 days waiting on the investigative hold to be released so I could bond out. Once I bonded out, I was free for 6 days before the Marshal Service issued a federal warrant for my arrest for probation violation, and my mom drove me to turn myself in at Alcorn County Jail. I've been back incarcerated since July 20 of 2020. And she said she was sentenced to 24 months in prison, federal prison, and she has to do 85% of her time. So she says that means she will be getting out of March of 2022, as long as she doesn't have any of these other pending charges, get indicted for any of them. And Lindsey has also said on Instagram that her and Terabelle broke up before she went back to prison. So they are no longer an item. And for those of you who just started following me, I did ask Scott if he ever found that page in the book, and he did. It is this book, Beautiful Criminals, but it wasn't the same. Like, here's what she wrote, and this is the book on the right, and there's some differences, what they had underlined. But I don't feel like reading it all, so y'all can just read it. And Scott has had a lot to say about it on social media, especially Facebook. He said about Lindsey, she unfortunately has some extensive mental health problems, and she's pretty damaged. She was nothing like she was in prison when she got out. Some people can't handle freedom and responsibility, and she's one of them. I honestly think she will be in and out of the system the rest of her life. And Scott also said, I really did care for her, wanted her to do well, but she didn't even try, and I'm not sure she's able to. She said all the right things in prison, wanted to rekindle things with her daughter, go back to school, etc., but easier said than done. And Scott also said that Lindsey was an A aesthetically and F personality likability-wise. So in other words, that's just him saying that she was an A in looks and an F personality likability-wise. What would you guys grade Lindsey aesthetically and personality-wise? Let me know in the comments below. And that's it for this video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And it looks like Lindsey is going to be out of prison March of 2022 at the earliest. So we'll see.
Oh my God.